Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, or Street Fighter 2 Ultra. Probably that one, huh? CHUN-LI. I don't know. I never know which way to order that. Order those words. You know what I mean. This is possibly the best release so far. It's only the third, technically fourth if you count Evil Ryu, but maybe it's the best one yet. We're going to talk about why that might be the case and why it might not be, but there's definitely some good stuff here. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Before we talk about the figure, we're going to talk about the package, and it is a nice package, same as before really. You get the stage background in there, not really usable as a display piece, but I guess you could technically. Then we have the front arcade cabinet with her stuff on there. It looks pretty good. I like it. Some more general artwork, which I don't think actually comes from this game. I could be wrong about that. It might. I'm actually not sure about that artwork, so I could be totally wrong. And then we have the first three figures, which is Wave 1, even though she came out later. Okay, good packaging. I like it. And now let's talk about the figure. This figure stands just about, let's say 5 3/4 to the top of the head, give or take a little bit, and that's going to be a little bit shy of 15 centimeters. Here she is up against a Marvel Legends Darwin. So they are doing some scaling. That's pretty good. Here she is up against the Ryu sculpt. I happen to have him handy, so we're going to use him. She's a little bit shorter. I like it. Does it have to be exactly perfect scaling? No, but this is definitely good enough. Okay, so let's do a quick question of the day. Are you guys the types of collectors who will have, let's say for example, the Soda Street Fighter figures, and then you'll also get these and display both? Or are you the type of collector who will want only one interpretation of a set IP, whatever that might be? For me personally, I'm going to do both, and I'll have them separate in my cabinets. That's how I'll do it. I already did Storm and Soda, so now it's easy enough to add another Street Fighter collection. I'm happy to do that. I'll have a whole Street Fighter wall. Fine by me. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetics on this figure. I have to say, first thing, one of the reasons this might be the best one yet, paint job. Paint job is much nicer overall. I don't think she has as much shading. There might be some. I think there's super faint shading on there, so it's hard to notice, but it is there, I think. Only on the skin. I don't see it anywhere else. But the paint job on the yellow parts is very clean. It's not perfect. You can see this one's not as saturated, as vibrant a yellow as maybe these lines back here. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. They added the yellow in her hair buns, and then her face is pretty darn clean. I bought 2 of these, and both of them look really good. Like, obviously, they're not exactly perfect, but they are definitely reasonably good. No crazy misaligned eyes or anything like that, so very nice. And as far as the sculpt goes, I think they nailed it for like a traditional classic Chun-Li. Maybe her hair buns are a little bit too big, but everything else is pretty darn good. I like it a lot. And they did add texture throughout the clothing, not just for the gold trim, but the cloth itself is textured, and it looks very nice. Musculature is good. Slightly exaggerated hand size. I think that's a good call. And then the boots are sculpted really well too. They definitely could use a wash, but still, looks really, really good. I am very pleased with this. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect to be good enough, and I think this is definitely good enough. I'm not sure if these are supposed to move. I think they're separate pieces. There we go. Wiggled it down. Okay, so yeah, looks really good. That's the last thing I wanted to mention. The paint job on her bracelets is not good. At least on mine. This one's a lot cleaner. This one has something weird going on, so luckily they are removable, easy to repaint something like that if you had to, but otherwise she looks really good. I'll go 9.5 out of 10. For the $25 price point, shoe in. No problem at all to add this to the collection. $25, $26. Alright, so let's talk about her accessories. She has the normal face that comes on her in the package, then she has the yelling face. I actually think her faces are the best ones yet in sculpt and finish, and then we do have the 2 options, so I like that. Ryu's yelling face or angry face was questionable. Fei Long was okay, but not that different. Hers are great. I like them a lot. She does come with the 2 fist hands on her, and then we get the 2 open hands. That should be enough. At this price point, I don't think we can ask for any more, and I think that's reasonable. I don't think they need to push it up to 30 or close to that and add more accessories. This is already a wonderful spread. Speaking of a wonderful spread, we have her flash kick accessory, which is surprisingly well done. Hasbro did a very similar accessory to this for their Street Fighter / Power Rangers / whatever it was game tie-in thing, and this one looks way better. It does come with a display stand. It's not the best looking thing, but it works, and the shading on the translucent plastic is nice, and I'm just very, very pleased with this for the $25 price point. Wonderful accessories. 9.5 out of 10. Could be better, could be, but not reasonably. So that's good. I don't want to say 10 because there are things I would change. There's slight things I would change, but this is definitely good enough. Like a Kikoken would have been nice. I said that funny. Okay, so let's talk about the articulation. The first thing I want to talk about is her hair buns, her hair buns. It's one issue, 2 hair buns. All right, so you would expect them to rotate because they have to be connected anyway, but oddly enough, they keyed them with L-shaped pegs. So they are not rotating. That is really strange. They made them separate pieces, which is a great call, definitely. Don't have to worry about paint anywhere near as much, so that's wonderful. But not making them on a straight round peg is the most absurd thing. There's just no reason for it, because you don't have to worry about alignment. So you have a key like this for alignment purposes to make sure it goes where it's supposed to go. But they didn't do that. The only thing I could see is if they wanted to make sure that they had the left and the right, but it's not like they're that unique of a thing where they had to do that. They could have done even the same exact sculpt on both sides and then just made them rotate, but they didn't. So that's super irritating to me just because it really didn't need to happen. Luckily they look good enough, but they do not rotate and they do tear off easily as I just showed you. Alright, so for her neck we have a hinge and a ball peg, or a hinge and a straight peg. I think it's a ball peg, maybe it's a straight peg that wiggles, but you do get a hinge down there, which I guess they did that because the collar they figured would get in the way of the double ball peg. She has a little bit less range in the neck, but it's going to be good enough. There's a ball peg at the top for sure, but it has less range. So it'll do. It's not as good as Ryu or Fei Long, but it's okay. For the shoulders, no butterfly joint. Thank you for not doing a butterfly joint. It would have been impossible to make it effective. There was no need for it, so they didn't do it. I love that. You get your full rotation and you get your shoulder up to horizontal. No problem at all, other than a little bit of paint transfer. Should be easy enough to clean that off if you have to, but functionally that is a good shoulder for these big poofs. No problem at all. Bicep swivel comes in underneath this right here, which is great. Double jointed elbow. Even with that, plenty of range. There's definitely shading. By the way, there is shading on the skin tones, so that's wonderful. I love that. So really good range in the shoulders and elbows. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. That's standard. Nothing special there. A couple of ball pegs throughout the torso. You have the white wrap part as a separate piece, so she can just move around on that. Wonderfully executed. They actually put some thought into how they could incorporate the articulation into the character design. So that's a good thing. We don't see that from a lot of companies these days. They did a really good job. It's going to be so easy to just pose her. One of the most important things that doesn't get talked about, I mean, I talk about it in kind of a roundabout way by going over the articulation and talking about things that are finicky and whatnot, but figures that are easy to handle, fun to handle, it makes them so much more pleasant to have in the hand as opposed to ones that you have to fight to get into certain poses. Tell me how that's not better than some upside down ab crunch with a ball peg in the wrong place. Let me know. Or a swivel, or whatever it is that Hasbro's doing or other companies are doing. This is... You just do whatever you want with it and it's done. It's fine, it's easy, I love that. It's so much better than we normally see. Alright, this is a soft piece, so that won't get in the way too much. Let's see what kind of range we get. Oh, we can do the spinning bird kick because splits are possible in action figures without crazy big gaps. I've been saying it for years. People keep trying to argue with me, no, you need gaps in things. You don't. Look at that. She's gapless, and she can do the splits. No problem. Wonderful. This figure, I keep saying wonderful, that's the word of the day. Jada Toys is making a wonderful line of figures. Kicking forward, you don't get as quite the range, but it's basically up there. And so that's good. And then going back, you get range too. Sometimes these figures, on the hips, it likes to bind. Yeah, that's what's happening. I think if you can pop that free with a little bit of wiggling and finagling, you can even get... Oh, there we go. It just popped. So there. You can get them about that far. Does her spinning bird kick actually go like that, or are they out to the side? Either way, I don't remember. But you have decent range, for sure, in those hips. So I like that. Thigh swivel. Not the best looking thigh swivel we've ever seen, but certainly fine. Like, it's not ugly by any means, so that's going to be a functional thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. Mine took a little bit of breaking free. That's one of the downsides of insert molding. They take a heavier ratchet and they tend to wear out, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But you get decent enough range without sacrificing sculpt. Looks pretty good. I think they probably could have sacrificed a little bit of thigh meat in the back just at the hamstring to get a better knee bend, but that's definitely fine right there. No problem at all. And then we get our boot swivel. That's a nice addition. And for the ankles, they go all the way back and all the way forward. Really well done. And you get kind of a crappy ankle rocker, unfortunately. It's off at a bad angle. Luckily, if you're not worried too much about the seams on the boots, you can just rotate the ankle and then it's fine. Or rotate the shin. But that could be a little bit better. So, her articulation is certainly good enough. And I would argue certainly the best of the bunch. Fei Long's was really good, but her torso is great. She doesn't have the butterflies and her neck is limited. Maybe not the best. Her torso is, though. I'm going to say she's getting a 9 out of 10 for articulate. 9.5. I'm going to go 9.5 because it's really posable for a $25 figure that looks this good. Few things that need to be tweaked, but damn, Jada. They're just proving everything I've been saying about all these other companies for so many years. It's all true. It's all possible to do so much better than we've been getting. These guys, instead of just saying, well, the market's crappy right now and people are charging out the butt when they don't need to be, we can do that too. We can make an inferior product and charge too much. Let's do that. No, they are charging as little as they need to and making a wonderful product. Word of the day. This figure is going to get an overall rating of 9.5. One of the best figures I've reviewed, value per dollar, in a very long time. I would argue overall better than the other two Street Fighter figures. I think her accessory is better. I think her alternate head, both heads are better. Her paint job, it has more to it, and she poses really well. You can't beat it, guys. Even if you're not into Street Fighter, try a good figure. If you're only collecting Hasbro, please try a good figure from another brand and see what you're missing out on. For you, it's for you. It's not for me. I get nothing out of this. I get nothing out of it when I tell you a figure's bad or good. I'm just trying to help you enjoy your collection more. So hopefully you can do that. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you probably should. I have new videos every day but Wednesday and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.